I just want to talk a little bit about the Toronto game in which Jeremy Lin scored 31 points, and a lot of people are dubbing it as Linsanity. In particular, I wanted to focus on how Jeremy was played by Kevin McHale and how that had a little bit more to do with luck than it did to do with design. Um, so I just wanted to go through a series of kind of good luck that caused Jeremy Lin to stay in the game long enough to produce the Linsanity numbers. So first of all, in that game, pretty much no Rockets players were doing well in the first half, except for, Dwight Howard, of course. But there was there was no real reason to um, bench Jeremy Lin in the first half. Although I do want to say that Mikhail has been very good about just letting Lin stay in the game and things like that. A little better than he did last season, of course. But of course, it's also because Jeremy's been consistently performing at a high level. He's actually been probably the only one that's been really consistent for the Rockets this season so far. Anyway, one good thing was that he let Lin stay in for a pretty extended period of time in the first half, even though Lin wasn't doing stellar, and but no one else was either. So I think if someone else had been doing stellar, then maybe Lin wouldn't have. Then maybe he would not have let Lin stay in there for uh, that extended period of time. But who knows? He might have anyway. But so there was that event, and then Beverly got into foul trouble. So I think that was the quote unquote luck. Of course, I don't want to see Beverly in foul trouble, but with respect to what I'm talking about, that was one of the sort of happenstances that occurred that caused Mikhail to, you know, play Lin a lot, and which resulted in Lin getting hot and really getting into a rhythm because he didn't take Lin out. Usually, Mikhail would often take Lin out right when Lin starts getting in a rhythm. He does this quite often last season, and he has done this season as well. So because Beverly was in foul trouble, he let Lin stay there long enough to get into rhythm, and once Lin got into rhythm, Lin became really hot and just was hitting everything from everywhere. Once Lin did that, then of course Mikhail would be insane, more insane than anyone could possibly be if he didn't keep Lin in there for overtime and for the two overtimes. So you can't really give credit to Mikhail for doing that. I mean, that's just kind of automatic. It's like, to me, it's almost like it's almost like praising a grown man for being able to stand up and walk around as if he's a 1 year old or something, because that's basically you. It's something you're supposed to do. Um, so I just want to highlight that because the reason why I'm kind of nitpicking this is because a lot of what I see is that a lot of the retort to a lot of Lin fans when someone wants to make it seem like Lin fans are delusional, they'll cherry pick and they'll pick one or two instances in which Mikhail played Lin the way Lin is supposed to be played, and then they'll say, see, there's no issues between Mikhail and Lin. You guys are totally delusional. Mikhail plays Lin the way, he's supposed to play, and they point out one game or a few games out of a whole series of games in which Mikhail didn't do that. And so I know that, you know, just knowing how it all works, a lot of people are going to point out to this game and be like, all these Lin fans are delusional. Mikhail plays Lin, he'll play him 45 minutes a game, even if so there's no issue Lin being a starter or a non-starter, he'll play Lin 45 minutes a game. But my question is, or what I want to raise is, what if Beverly hadn't been in foul trouble? Do you think the same thing would have happened? Do you think Lin would have still gotten, 40 something minutes? Do you think Lin would have stayed out there long enough to have, done what he did and to have had a Linsanity type game? I don't think you have to go very far to figure out what would have happened, because all you have to do is look at the Lakers game, which just occurred a couple games ago. In the Lakers game, I would argue that Jeremy Lin was actually the best Rockets player in that game. Even though Harden scored 35 points, Harden did it very inefficiently. And Lin was very efficient in his scoring. He just wasn't out there long enough, and he didn't get enough playing time. In that game, Beverly wasn't in foul trouble. Beverly had just gotten back from injury, maybe a game before that, and Beverly was shooting 1 of 10, and Beverly ended up with more minutes than Jeremy Lin. So, that's sort of the thing I'm kind of talking about. Lin was probably the best player for the Rockets, and still ended up with fewer minutes than Beverly. What if Lin had gotten the minutes that he deserved in that Lakers game? I think Rockets would have won easily. Lin was really shooting very well in that game as well, and could have easily been, Linsanity. And then the other thing about it is that a lot of Rockets players actually passed to Lin on the night of the Toronto game, whereas this season I've really noticed that a lot of his teammates actually don't look to pass to him. He has to sort of find his baskets all himself, all by himself. There's no real help. I would see him pretty much wide open quite often on the wing, and Harden wouldn't pass to him, Parsons won't pass to him. A lot of, they'll rather put up a contested shot. You had that example even in the Toronto game. I mean, in the fourth quarter, when they could have done something to win the game instead of push it to overtime, Harden had the ball, Jeremy was wide open on the wing, and rather than just passing the ball to Jeremy, knowing that Jeremy is really hot, he put up a contested shot against two players, and of course it didn't go in, and it actually airballed. So that's just one instance. There's so many instances. It's really ridiculous how many instances where Jeremy Lin just does not get the ball from his teammates. So, and you can say that I'm a delusional Lin fan if you want. Just go back, look at the games, look at Lin, and look at how wide open he is all the time, and look at how he doesn't get the ball. So all of these things, in the Toronto game, he actually got the ball. His teammates actually looked for him and gave him the ball. My question is, what if they had done that more consistently, in other games? Then, Lin might have had more games in which he could have helped the Rockets win, especially in the Lakers game. I mean, that should have been an easy win for the Rockets, and I went through in detail all the reasons that all the things that went wrong, this whole laundry list of things that went wrong in a blog post that I wrote about that game. So you can check that out if you want. So anyway, this is just a really quick post or quick video I wanted to do just to address this particular issue, because I think people can gloss over it. But the reason why I'm so normally I don't nitpick on a lot of things, but the reason why I nitpick on this is because this is the exact type of thing that other fans would throw at the face of Lin fans and say, see, this is why you guys are all delusional. So I just don't like the cherry picking aspect of it. So I just want to have a video to address that in case, you know, Lin fans get this thrown at them, then, you know, maybe they can point those guys to this video. So anyway, as usual, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, and please subscribe, share the videos. All right, talk to you later. Bye.